That's why I think I'm so smart, because I never went to school. So I've been to prison about 15 years altogether. I've been to prison 4 different times, back to back. Like, all I want to do is I want to document from me getting out to when I'm multi-millionaire and be like, look, it's all on tape. So that's what I started doing when I got out of prison. I'm down to $0 now, basically. Like, I drive out to Tampa on a hope and a dream. I was born in Catskill, New York. I had a brother, older brother. I had a mother up until I was about like 10 years old. She ended up getting really sick, and we came to Florida. She found out she had like hepatitis C. And back then they didn't have a treatment. So when I came down here, she started like losing her hair. It was like bedridden and everything. And I just went off the deep end. She started like smoking dope. Gone. She was gone out of my life. I was like 10 or 11. I stopped going to school. 6th grade was like the last grade I even went to.
Where was your dad?
Never had a dad. He was in prison. I remember meeting him one time on Easter, like years and years and years ago, but never really had a dad.
Why was he in prison?
I can't even tell you, man. I just never even thought about that part of my life. Not in a bad way, just never considered a dad. Like, it was just like, I don't have a dad. No, you know what I mean? And came to Florida. My mom started smoking dope, and I just started running the streets. I was around a lot of drug dealers and everything. Started breaking in houses. I ended up getting addicted to drugs too. I started smoking dope with my mom. I was like 11 or 12 years old.
Bro, like, yeah, fucking kills me.
Like, freaking, like, I'm talking about crack. Like, we're smoking dope, and I'm 12 years old. I don't even know.
My wife was 11 or 12 when she first smoked fucking meth with her like her stepmother. It's like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, and that's really basically how it went. And I started getting locked up back then. I remember.
What was the first time you got locked up?
Like 12 years old. I think I broke in. My friend's mom had some weed, and we knew about the weed. Broke in her house, took the weed. She ended up calling the cops. They came there, whatever. I got arrested. They ended up dropping the charges because she was trying to say other stuff was stolen, but we just took the weed. Still wrong, nevertheless, you know what I mean? So ended up going to juvenile there. They released me. In Pasco County, they have a rule like you do 21 days and you get out, right? But I'm so young that I would get out for 21 days. I'll just do another crime. And I would get back to, I'm talking about, I had about 40, 50 felonies on my juvenile record for real. But they couldn't put me in anything because I was so young. I'm like 12, 13.
They couldn't give you 6 months in a juvie.
I was so young. It was literally 21 days and I would get out. And I knew how to so if you go to an arraignment and you say like you plead guilty or whatever, then they could put you for, I can't remember what they call it, but staffing for kids. So then they say, okay, you're going to a program, then they could hold you. But I would never go to court because I knew this. So I would get out 21 days and I'll run, right? They would catch up to me, do 21 days, court would never come up. So I did this for a couple of years till I was 16, 16 years old. 16th birthday adjudicated me. I was in juvenile. 16 went slapped the county. Boom, went to the county jail. 16. That was like the start of my criminal career.
You went to county jail.
Yeah.
How much for how much?
I ended up. They gave me 4 years prison.
For what though?
Well, I had all these charges as I was.
You just kept raking up the charges, so it's like multiple, and these are all like burglaries.
Or everything, like you name it, burglaries, shoplifting, car. Anything. It wasn't like I was just running rampant. Took a bunch of guns. We had a bunch of assault rifles and AK. It was like, yeah, like some real deals, like some crazy stuff. And I didn't know what I was doing. It wasn't like I was like running like a gangster or nothing like that. I'm just a kid, just wreaking havoc.
So when you robbed the guy for the guns, how old were you?
I was about 13 at the time.
Okay.
I was just, at the time, I would go around neighborhoods, scouring neighborhoods. I would dress up real nice. I was still looking like a kid. I didn't want to like have clothes that would draw attention to me.
Yeah, you look innocent. Nobody expects anything.
Yes, and I would go at school time because the best time to do it is at school time because all the kids are running around, but you know that people aren't at home because they go to work. So I go to like blue collar, like upper class, but still like, they go to work, the 2 cars are gone, the kids are gone. I would look for like basketball hoops because I know kids are there, so they're at school and the people are at work. I ended up like climbing into a window of this house, And when I went into the house, the first thing that had I realized that all the doors and everything were barricaded. You couldn't get in or out of the house with only through a window. Everything was deadlocked, and there was no handles on the insides of the doors. That's
not normal.
No. So the first thing I found an AR-15 behind this guy's bed, and I'm a kid, so I automatically pull a blanket off I think I throw the gun on the top of the bed, wrap it up with a blanket, and put it by the window because I got to crawl back out the window. And then I started looking more. I found we had an AR-15. I found an SKS, a Mossberg 12 gauge pump I found a 45 Thompson, which is a Tommy gun. And I'm just finding all these random, so I'm just keep putting them in the blanket,
What is this place? Like, is this like oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. It's, so at the time I didn't know. It was just a house. So I take a bunch of the guns back. I think at that time I had about 3 or 4 guns. I climb out the window. I'm scared, but I'm walking down the street with this blanket. I'm like walking down the street. I go to my brother. We're at this chick's house. We had partied the night before. My brother's like 5 years older than me, so he was like 17 at the time. He might have been 18, and I was 13. I was, you know what I mean? And I say, hey, there's a bunch of guns. Let's go back. So we go back and get the rest of the guns. There ended up being 7 of them. And so what happened was the guy was a military weapons specialist for the Marines.
Okay.
Yeah. And so it was a big deal in the papers, news, everything. They put a reward for the guns. They're like, hey, we need to get these off the streets. So I guess, so the guy I was chilling with, name was Jeremy. He was my neighbor on like a corner. It was like a little apartment building on the corner from where I was staying at with my mom. Now, my mom was sick at the time. She had hepatitis. She had like I don't know the stages of hepatitis, but she was gone, whatever. And so my neighbor ended up, I guess the feds came to my neighbor's house. I didn't notice at the time.
How did they get there?
Someone called. I have no idea. Maybe because there was a reward.
Oh, okay.
So this is what I'm guessing. I don't really know exactly how it all transpired. All I know is he had his house wired for sound and cameras, and they were watching us. But prior to like he even had his house sound or wired, my brother ended up getting robbed for the guns because we're kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Someone pulls up, says he wants to buy the guns. He puts the guns in the truck with the dude. The dude just sticks them up. It's like,
right.
They're mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the guns were already gone. So the guy had his house wired, everything. We already moved on. We're not even thinking about these guns anymore. You know, we got so much stuff going on. So my neighbor ends up setting, like, they don't have the evidence to get us, but maybe they do. We're at Walmart. I'm reading this on the Discovery later on. Like, once you get, we got caught for the crime. Once you get caught, you get a Discovery that shows everything that happened. And come to find out, the feds were like following us. They were at Walmart one time. They were like ready to jump out with all these things, but we didn't have no guns or anything.
Right.
So, come to find out, we ended up telling on ourselves.
Right.
So they couldn't find anything, whatever. So they just, feds came to us and
so they were watching in the house. They had the house wired and they were watching it, hoping they would see the guns or hoping you would talk about it. But by that time, the guns had been stolen. You guys aren't even thinking about the guns.
No.
So they're not able to gather really any evidence, but at some point they just move in and grab you.
Yeah, they move in and grab us. They grab me first. And I'm a kid. I just tell on myself.
Yeah.
They like, we got you.
Yeah.
We got you. And I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? But again, I was so young. I just went to JDC 21 days. I was out. My brother ended up going to prison. He didn't. So the feds didn't pick it up. State ended up picking it up. And my brother ended up getting like 6 years in prison for that.
Jesus.
He's out now. But he was an adult.
Yeah.
So thank God he even got that because that was like
yeah, these are machine guns, right?
Yeah, these real deal machine guns. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was like the first time like I really, really got in trouble.
I wonder what that charge would have been in the feds. I wonder. It's funny because most charges are worse in the Fed, but some charges you're better off in the state. Like they'll give you 2 years, the feds would give you 10.
Yeah.
So I was one. But a machine gun in the feds, I think it's probably like 10 years. Probably, yeah. It's probably would have been worse if he had been gone federal.
Yeah, this was back in like 2000 or something. So I don't even. Yeah, it was a big deal.
You got 6 years. How much time did you do?
I think he ended up doing like 4. I'm pretty sure he got charged as a youthful offender for that because he was 18.
Okay.
He might have been 17. It was a long time ago, but he got charged as a youthful offender. So they like break it up. So I think he ended up getting like 4 years and 2 years. And that's how that, but I just got out. I ended up getting nothing for the charge. I was a juvenile.
13, you're just a kid.
Yeah, I was
and not even like a 17-year-old kid. You're like a kid. You're like 13.
I was living crazy.
That's a baby.
Yeah.
So what happened? What happened after that?
All right, so my brother goes to prison. That was the time, like my life really because once I remember I was with my brother this whole time. We came to Florida. My mom got sick. Stuff was going down. My brother goes to prison, and that's actually when I think I started dibbling and dabbling in cocaine with my mom because my brother wasn't there. Because I don't remember doing that when my brother was there. Now in recollection,
right?
Because my mom had been sick, so my brother goes to prison. I'm by myself. You know what I mean? And I start doing drugs with my mom.
Your mom's deteriorating. Mm-hmm. She's getting worse. She's got to take care of you. So she just figured start selling drugs.
Yeah,
that's the way to survive.
No electric. I grew up with no electric. It was like candles. I used to take a shower at the neighbors. Like we had an old people's apartment complex behind our house, and I would literally have to like run across the field and take a shower in the pool because of the hot water. Because we didn't have no electric or anything like that. Grass was about 5 feet high in the yard.
Right.
I remember I had a school bus coming to pick me up. And I would run down the street. I'd run and jump up in the morning, take a shower. This is like the first little before, because I didn't even complete 6th grade. So this is probably around there. It was about like 6th grade, beginning of 6th grade. I run down the street and to meet the bus because I didn't want them pulling up at my house because it was grass. It just looked, it just looked bad. Yeah. And
so what happened after that? Like, I mean, what's like the next time you get grabbed?
Well, it's been so many times after that. I just kept just going back. And that's when they were letting me out doing the 21 days. I would do 21 days in JDC, Pasco Detention Center over here. They would let me out. I was just running rampant, stealing, robbing houses, robbing people, robbing drug dealers, people that were, friends with. I would act like I was cool with these local drug dealers and stuff like that. And when they would show me where their stuff was at, we'd either stick them up with a gun, put a mask on, ski mask, or tie a shirt over your head. You know what I mean? Just got the eyes hanging out and just run down on them, with a pistol or whatever we had at the time. And that's basically what I was doing. And I just kept going back to, it was a revolving door. Just kept going back to jail until I turned 16. And that's when I was in county jail. They direct filed me to county jail from 16. I was in juvenile, 16th birthday. They come in. They're like, haha, we got you. Like, we've been waiting for this. This is what the cops are telling me. They're like, we've been waiting for this. You know what I mean? Let's go. Bring me straight to county jail, put me in a cell, close the door. I'm 16.
Okay. Well, I mean, you said do they adjudicate you like as an adult, make you an adult?
Yeah, yeah. So you get direct filed is what they call it.
Oh, okay.
So when you're a juvenile, when you turn 16, you could be direct filed as an adult. I think they changed it to 15 now because there's like kids who get like murder charges and stuff, and then they get direct filed. But maybe it's got to be like extenuating circumstances. But I remember 16, straight to county jail, Newport Richie Detention Center actually, and got 4 years prison. 4 years prison at 16.
Where'd you
go? Went to Indian River. So Indian River is a youthful offender camp.
Okay.
Probably one of the craziest. So there's 4 youthful offender camps. You got.
Are you concerned about this? I'm sorry. Are you concerned about this at all? Like when you're going, I know you're saying you've been in and out, but I mean, are you scared? Like they give you 4 years in prison. What are you thinking?
I was scared. I was scared to death. I'm scared when I go to prison as an adult. I'm like, I'm scared to death. There's all these horror stories. You're gonna get beat up, and you're gonna
be beat up. You're gonna get raped. You're gonna be somebody's pawn. The whole
thing. So I was super scared. But at the same time, like growing up in like that environment, that you just gotta like fight. No matter what, like it don't even matter if you're scared or not. You just got to go head first, And that was basically like the concept I had. So when I went into Indian River, they call it a test of heart. And the test of heart is like when new guys come in You come in with back then they would give you a laundry bag, right, with all your brand new blues. So blues is like your prison uniform for Florida.
Right.
So they would give you this bag of blues. They're all brand new. And like brand new blues in prison is like a coveted thing because you can't get brand new blues unless you buy them. But at this prison at Indian River, you couldn't buy them. Only from the new guys. And the way they set the dorm up, which doesn't it don't make sense to me, right? So they have it's like not a reentry dorm, but like it's these big wings, right? There's probably like 100 rooms in these wings. You got like 25 on top, 25 on the bottom, 25 on top, and 25 on the bottom. And they just you could actually like the kids could you could pop your door. Like there's no security or nothing. So what they do is the top row is supposed to be for people getting out of confinement. It's like a reentry dorm for confinement. So you got all the worst of the worst in the prison with the with the new people coming in.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
So they're like victims.
So as soon as you come in, the kid there's no cops, you know, contrary to belief, there's no police there. They just put you in this wing and your room is 119B, and you just go to 119B. And as soon as you come in there, you have your brand new blues. You're already a target. You got brand new socks. You got like 3 pairs of socks, 3 pairs of boxers, 3 pairs of uniforms, and you're just fed to the wolves.
To where they come in right up, like a group of guys comes in, just tells you, do they tell you give me your stuff?
Yeah, that's when you got to fight. So
Right.
so like if you got to like literally just pop off like. And that's what I did. So they came in the room. I just jumped up and punched one of them. It happened to be the head of the Crips. Yeah. And they freaking beat me to sleep. Yeah. But the good thing about that afterwards, they're like, man, this white boy right here is freaking, he punched the head of the Crips. And they ended up having me line because I punched the leader or whatever. So I had to line it up with 7 people.
What does that mean?
Like, so there's like 7 people on the line and you got to fight each one. Back to back. Yeah.
This is a horrible story.
Blindfolded. I ain't lying, bro. Blindfolded. I swear to God, you could ask, bro. I put a blindfold on because it was either that or you just going. So like the leader of the Crips is like, look, you could either fight these 7 dudes blindfolded or we're just going to just keep kicking you to sleep. He's like, I like you. You know, you got moxie. You got, he didn't say moxie, but like, you know, you got heart, you got balls. He's like, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to line it up. You're going to put 7 of these guys, you're going to fight them blindfolded. And I said, run it. And I ran it. Fought 7 of them. They jumped me. I got hit with a lock. But after that, though, I could do anything I want in the compound. Walk around, buy canteen, have a canteen bag. You can't do that. You can't just go buy canteen like that in the youthful offender prison. Like if you ain't got no respect, you go up to that window.
You buy it as soon before you get back to the dorm, they're fucking taking it. Right.
Right there at the window. The cops don't care. They're gonna beat
horrible.
They gonna beat you right there at the window. Or you're gonna be just buying somebody something because they'll come up to you. You know, they weren't really stabbing in there. Their thing was locks.
Right.
They want to hit you with a lock. They don't I mean, people do get stabbed or cut, but
yeah, one of the worst things I ever saw was a guy get beat. He must have got hit 6 or 7 times with a lock in the head, and you know your head bleeds.
Yeah.
And there was blood everywhere. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Like the lock's as bad as getting stabbed. I mean, it's just bad. And you see those guys with the little horseshoes on their head.
Yeah, because that little dial part hits you.
Yeah, or just the roundness of the lock. It leaves those little circular. Yeah. Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah.
How often do you even go to canteen? Like, can you go every day in the state?
Well, as far as a youthful offender, like so there's a canteen man in the window because he gets paid to be there. It's just like a full-time job. Now, whether the police let you go to the canteen is another question.
Right.
But you could get the canteen because the jits don't care. Kids don't care. Even as an adult, you'll sneak out. They call it sliding. So people slide. They'll be like, oh, you want to go to canteen window? You got to slide. And that means whether somebody will be going to like an appointment. So they go to pop the door and then a guy just literally runs up under him. So because the way the booths are in the Department of Corrections of Florida is like you got about it's about 6 foot up and it's all like a glass bubble on both sides. So there'll be one dorm, and then there'll be like a booth in the middle, and then they can see on both sides.
Right.
But you're still about 6 feet up, so you could literally like army crawl out the door. So a lot of people will army crawl out the door to hit the canteen window, and then literally like James Bond, like they'll like go on the side and creep around and get to the window. It's pretty much a game.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, because in federal, you go once a week. You got a number, you go once a week, you're not going again.
Oh, no.
But then again, you'll get a bag you'll get all your canteen. You'll come back with your laundry bag.
Yeah.
And bring it back. Nobody's robbing you.
Hey, no one robbing you.
Yeah. You go back, you put it in your locker, you put your lock on your locker, you're probably.
Yeah, that's dangerous. I seen someone get busted in the head. Actually it was at DeSoto. The canteen man had froze a guy's Coke for him. And the guy took the frozen Coke out and put it in a canteen bag, because you don't really want to put it in a sock. That's more of a myth, because if you ever put like a lock or something in a sock, it'll bust out the sock and shoot out. And that's like the last thing you want to do if you're going to hit somebody. You don't want to hit them with a sock. You know what I mean? So, I seen the dude had to put a frozen Coke can in a canteen bag, tied it up in a knot so it stick there, and he just bashed the dude in the head right there at the canteen line with a frozen Coke. That was at DeSoto Correctional, for real. Yeah, this is back in 2009, I think. Yeah, something like that.
How long were you there? You were 4 years, you said? You got 6.
Okay, so I've been to prison about 15 years altogether. I've been to prison 4 different times, back to back. Like, I didn't even get out. This is the longest I've ever been out. I've been out about 4 years, almost 4 years this time.
Right, but that time, you said you got 6 years. How much time?
My brother had got 6 years. I got 4 years that time.
How much time did you do?
I did about 3.5 years. But what saved me though is I went to the boot camp. So I mean, it was like a blessing, man. God's been blessing me my whole life, man. I went to the boot camp. That's a rare thing. You go to the boot camp, you do 4 months, you get out. But it's like hard, intensive training. You're at a boot camp. There's people screaming in your face and all that stuff.
Right.
But there's people who have 15 years and do 4 months and get out. Because it's like you get a one-shot opportunity. Like if you've never been in trouble before, as far as like adult, you know what I mean? If you've never been in trouble, you go there, you could qualify for this boot camp in Sumter. In Sumter Correctional. They have a youthful offender boot camp. But I went there, did 4 months and got out.
How old were you?
Probably maybe like 15, 16 at the time, somewhere around there. I was still young. Or no, I mean, 20? Yeah, because I went to county jail. I went to county jail when I was 16, direct file. So I had to be 3.5. I was like 18, 19, something like that. Yeah. And
did you get your GED when you were locked up? Or
anything? I did get my GED. Funny part about that is because like I never finished 6th grade. Never went to school since like maybe a couple months into 6th grade. I went in there and they make you do like standardized testing when you first go there. They classify you based on your tests. And I scored so high that I went into the classification, whatever, and they're like, you scored so high that you could just take your GED. I was like, okay, that's fine.
You took it?
Well, I was actually in the box. So you were like supposed to like go through like these like pre-classes or something, but I was in confinement at the time. So when they came and got me, they just opened my door one day. I'm in the box and they're like, hey, it's time to take your GED.
No prep work, nothing.
Nothing. Went in there and aced it.
I used to teach GED to the guy.
Yeah, went in there and aced it. Got my GED. That was a good thing. That was a good part about prison. That was back then in the youthful offenders. Get out boot camp. I started living with my mom again. And that's probably when stuff really started going crazy because she still get high. I'm older now. We start getting high together. She has all these drug dealer friends, but now I'm able to interact with them better, if that makes sense, because now I'm older. I'm not a kid anymore. I get out, so we start going crazy together.
What does that mean?
Like we start. Mom introduced me to a whole nother world of like drug dealers and stuff like that, and we just started getting high together, smoking a lot of. Whenever you got two minds together, you know what I mean? Because my mom's robbing people too. Yeah. My mom's robbing people, man. She would call the dope dealers up. They'd put the dope in her hand and she'll just take it and be like, I ain't giving it back. I see my mom get punched in the face one time by a dope dealer. I didn't even do nothing either because I'm just like, bro, she was wrong. Like I didn't even know she was gonna like this. She didn't even tell me she was gonna do it or nothing.
So what happened? You said you guys are getting high. Like, did you start selling?
Oh yeah,
drugs,
so I was always like my whole life I kind of been selling drugs in one capacity or another. When I was a kid, it was like weed, and then went to like whatever. But I was getting high at the same time. And my mom had a known trap house, not like a trap house like the rappers talk about now, but everybody would basically like sit there and get high,
right?
And they'd pay her. They call her Crazy Kate. My mom's name was Crazy Kate. And they would come to her and she would get all the dope. Like you couldn't get dope from nowhere else unless you went there. So it'd be like an all in service, I guess. You would get there, pay her the money. She'll get the dope, make whatever she's going to get, give you your dope. And then she has all like the necessities to get high in peace, I guess. You know what I mean?
Right. There's a place you can sit down. You can stay here. It's safe. You're not going to be fucked with.
And it was never dirty either. So my mom's like super clean. Like that's one thing. Right. She kept it super clean. So yeah, so she had there was no electric or nothing like that. But yeah, so you could go there.
This is horrible.
You could go there, get high in peace. Ain't got to worry about nobody. She has a constant flow of dope. You know what I mean? The dope dealers would come over there. And she was just making money like that. And then also like you'd have dope boys that stayed over there overnight. Sometimes they don't got a place or whatever. She have a back room they could go in there and sleep and not worry, lock the door and not worry about people robbing them. And
did she ever get raided or anything? The cops ever show up?
No, man. My mom's never got raided ever. Never got raided.
So what happened as this is happening? Are you still like doing burglaries?
I shied away from the burglars when I got out because I never liked breaking in people's stuff, man. It always felt like wrong. Even like because I used to break in these houses and I would like look at the wall and they're like pictures of Jesus on the wall and stuff, and I'm just like, no, like I can't believe I'm doing this. You know what I mean? Or see their kids' pictures. I felt horrible, man. I ain't gonna lie. And so like when I just stuck more to the selling dope, and I became like pretty successful for selling dope as far as someone could be for doing it at the same time. Like if I hadn't been doing it at the same time, I would have been doing my thing. You know what I mean? I had cars and all that, nothing like Benzes or nothing, but I had like cars and I had really good plugs and they would give me like dope, like super cheap. And I mean, there was no way you couldn't make money at the time. And that ended up me going back to prison.
How did that happen?
This last time. So the time before this, how did I end up going to prison? Man, I've been to prison so many times, man. I'm not gonna lie, bro.
So after you get out as a youthful offender, what was the next time you went?
All right. So the next time I went to prison after youthful offender, it had to have been. All right. So the next time I went to prison as a youthful offender, man, bro, I freaking don't even remember, bro.
Have you been 4 times?
Yeah, I've been 4 times. So
you got out after the boot camp.
All right, I got out after the boot camp.
What was the next one you went in?
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right, I got you. Okay, so I get out after the boot camp, right? So I got sentenced to 4 years. I got sentenced to 4 years prison, 2 years paper. Because whenever you do a youthful offender, you got to have 6-year sentence. All right. So I did about 3.5 years, and I went back. I violated. So I got out, started doing drugs. I still had the paper with my mom. I violated that.
How? Failed a drug test or?
I think I just stopped going altogether.
You can't do that.
Yeah, no, they
frown on that.
Yeah, you gotta like report to these people. And at the time, like I got out and I went back to, now my mom's had the same house forever. You know what I mean? The trap house. So I got out and went back to that house. You know what I mean? Same stuff. My mom does the same stuff. She's always smoking this. So I had no other place to go. And I was a kid. I didn't really know about halfway houses and other opportunities. And to be honest, I wanted to get out and party.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You're still just a kid.
Yeah. So I ended up going back there, didn't have a stable environment, ended up violating, and I got rearrested, went back to jail.
How much, what'd they give you?
So there's a loophole. If you do the boot camp, right, and you violate with a technical, they have to let you off the hook with no probation or none. I can't even make this up. Yeah, so I ended up getting 4 years prison, 2 years paper. I do 3.5 years. I get out. I violate within 3-4 months. I go back to Land O'Lakes County Jail. I sit in there 3-4 months. I'm getting ready to take the 6 years because you have to. So if you violate, you get to 6 years, but they give you all your time served.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? So if I had 4 years prison, 2 years paper, I do 3.5 years. I do the boot camp, get out. But if I violate, now I get the whole 6 years prison minus the time that I had served.
Okay.
All right. But there's a loophole, right? So the day I was going to take the 6 years, I had no choice. They put me in a cell with some guy. And he's like, bro, you could beat that. I got rid of mine, man. This is all you do. This is all you tell them. I'm like, all right. Yeah, I didn't believe him.
What is that?
So it's saying like if you violate with a technical, they can't give you the 6 years. For whatever reason, right? I don't even know the loophole. But so I went there. I told I had a public defender at the time. I'm like, listen, I heard this from a street lawyer because I didn't want to tell him like I didn't want to tell him inmate, right? So I go there. I'm about to take the 6 years. I said, bro, listen, just check this out. Check this out before. I heard this from I called a lawyer on the streets. He like, you're right. He's like, you're right, man. I'm like, I'm right? So he goes back. Ended up getting everything gone that day. I think I had like a week left. I had like 1 week walking out. So I went back to jail for like a week. Oh, this is what it was. The reason they didn't let me out, I had charges in Hillsborough County. That's what it was. I can't even remember what the charges were. It was like something stupid, like driving. Because I used to be driving cars and I'll take the police on high-speed chases and get away. But when you go to court, they know it's you.
Yeah.
So I had some like stuff in Hillsborough for like driving or something. They end up taking me to court. That's what it was. That's what the violation was part of. But the loophole was since the charge wasn't in Pasco County, it was only a technical violation for not showing up.
Right.
And then they squashed everything, but I had to go to Hillsborough County. So I was off probation, off prison that day in the courtroom after I was supposed to take 6 years.
Right. But they picked you up for the charges.
They picked me up so I only went there for like a reckless driving or something. So I went there and got 60 days.
Okay.
With the time served. I ended up doing like a couple weeks or something.
What, in Orient County? Road?
Yeah, that's exactly where I was. So they let me out of Orient right there, and I'm free and clear. All right.
Okay. So what? You go back to your mom's.
Go back to my mom's. All right.
And what happens? Say back right.
Same right back. I'm talking about pull up. And back. People like these dope dealers think they're helping you because they're like, here, man. Here's like a 8 ball of. Bro,
I got some work for you, right? Like, yes. I got some. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna give you some drugs. They really wanted to help you. They give you $1,000 to help you.
Yeah, their whole thing, but in their sick, twisted way, they really are helping you. I guess you know what I mean. He's like, here's an 8 ball. Get on your feet, bro. And I'm just like, I don't even have a shot, man. I start smoking again. Hey, mom, this is what I got. Let's go. And I'm back off to the races. And so I end up going to prison again after this. I think I got caught with drugs this time because I got a bunch of drug charges too. A lot of them are random because when I get caught for something else, I'll have drugs on me.
Right.
So this time, I'm not now in between all these prison terms. I'm not out 3, 4, 5 months, maybe not even sometimes. Like I'll literally get out of prison. I'll be back. I'll literally get out and go back and the same people were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I would watch my sentence, I did like 13 years. So I'd watch guys get out, violate, come back on violation for 6 months, get out, get a new charge, get 5 years, come back, do the 5 years. They do whatever, 4, maybe 3, because they get like a drug program. Get out on that and then come back again on a violation. It was just like, I've watched you come and go 4 fucking times. I'm still here. Yeah. Sucks.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is. That's exactly how it is. So I go back to prison. This is when stuff starting to change though, because this third time I go back to prison, man. I start like realizing I start reading self-development books, right? And then my mind starts changing, man. And God's working on me at the same time. And I'm just like, you know what? This ain't what I want, man. This
isn't working for me. Yeah,
this is horrible. You know what I mean? And that was like the basic, like that third time I went to prison, I started reading self-development books. But the only problem was I still had a drug problem. So I'm in prison and I'm smoking I think I was smoking weed this time, but then they came in with this stuff called K2, which is they call it tunchi in prison.
Yeah, the synthetic weed.
Yeah, now
supposedly.
And that was a freaking game changer right there. So I started smoking tunchi in prison. That done killed the whole self-development trip right there, man. Oh God,
guys would get it. We'd wake up. In the middle of the night, some guy fucking screaming like he's on fire, like thinks he's on fire, like hitting himself and rolling around and screaming. And we're like, what the fuck is going on? And then they'd turn on all the lights and the cops would come running. You know, he'd get a bad batch of K2, right? So, or whatever it was.
A good batch.
I was, isn't that funny you say that? Because here's what happened. He'd be screaming and hollering. The cops would come rushing in. They'd grab him. They'd drag him off. And as they're dragging him off, the guys in the other unit
could
hear that this guy was going nuts. And they're like, oh, he smoked his K2. He probably went in the bathroom that night, smoked some of it, had a bad reaction. That's what happened. And they think to themselves that that's the same batch that they got because they know what's happening. They immediately go in the bathroom and smoke theirs. Like, that's what they're thinking. Like, that's the good shit. And then they smoke it. So in the other unit, as the cops are dragging this guy away, you hear guys in the other unit start flipping out, screaming and hollering in the other unit. Now the cops have to rush over there. So you got like 3 guys in 2 units flipping out because they got, what I consider a bad batch, but they consider a good batch. That's some good shit.
That's like gas.
Then they bring him back 3 days later or a month later. And they're like, bro, man, that was fucking amazing. That was like, you're screaming like you're on fire. I thought I was on fire. And they're laughing about it. You're like, that's insane.
Yeah.
And they're ready to smoke it again. That's the good stuff. That's insane.
It was like gas. That's what they call that gas, man. And that was the introduction. And that was the introduction to Tunchi on that third trip. I remember they had just started bringing it in. And I'm like, and because we were smoking weed, I'm like, oh, smoke weed. I don't smoke no tunchi. And they're like, no, man, this is way better than weed, man. This is cheaper. You only got to smoke a little crumbs. I'm talking about nothing, like some stuff you just dust off the.
And when it first came out, you could just mail it in. They had so it's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's cheap. They just mail it in and they dip the corner of a letter
or
put something and then mail it in. The mailroom has no idea. They don't. They just give you the mail, and in the letter they'd say, "Hey, the lower left-hand corner of this has been dipped in K2 or whatever," and they'd say, roll it up and smoke it. And you guys are rolling it up, and
we call it gooking out. In Florida, they call it gooking. So when someone gets high on spice or tunchi or K2, it's all the same. They start gooking. And you're like, that's how you know it's gas when they start gooking out.
This is horrible.
And then they come get the what do they call it? Or twacking. Another one. He's twacking out.
we had a guy one time stripped naked. So here's what happened. First of all, he's running around the compound. So we're in our unit. We could see out, and the unit's like, there's 3 units around the compound. So, but you can see out the windows. So you can see people walking around. There's a guy running around the compound with the cops chasing him, right? And I remember they surrounded him at one point. And he's, by the way, he's pulled off his shirt. He thinks he's on fire or something, whatever. They surround him, and as they close in on him, all of a sudden he pulls his pants off and he's completely naked. The cops, I remember the circle of cops, they were like closing in, and all of a sudden they backed up like he had a weapon. And then they kind of look at each other, and then they went, whoa, and they jumped on him and pulled him down, and they had to drag him off to the chute.
Yeah, I see some stuff on Tucci, man. I've twacked out a few times before. I never had no experience like getting naked and nothing like that, but I was.
Most of the time, the guys are just fucked up.
Yeah.
They lay down. They're like, some guys go nuts.
Yeah, my brother does, man. My brother goes. So I got that third time I got out, I started smoking tunchi on the streets. I had met this chick. So prior to all this, man, I had met a chick, man, when I went to prison this third time. Her name was Leah. When I went to prison this third time, she ended up getting back and connected with me. And she's like, I got this, I got a house and this chick is beautiful now. And I'm like, I'm set up now for life. You know what I mean? Like, man, I get out. So my brother's out of prison at this time too. So I get out Meet up with my brother. I'm talking first day I get out of prison. I go to this hot chick's house. She's got everything set up, nice car, everything. I start smoking Tunchi, gooking out on her bed. Like I'm puking everything first. I mean, but this is street Tunchi now. My brother's smoking when I get out. I didn't have no intention of smoking when I get out. I get out and my brother's got it. My brother pulls up on me. He's selling dope at the time. He's doing pretty good as far as like selling dope or whatever.
Right.
And he's got this Tunchi and a blunt. That's a street size blunt. This ain't no little, because in prison, you know, you smoke nothing. Like a little, it looked like a little toothpick, man. I pulled up with a blunt like this. I hit the thing, man, started gooking out on her bed. I'm puking everywhere. She didn't know what it was. She's no, she ain't never been to prison. She's like, what are you on? I'm just projectile vomiting like the Exorcist all over her house. And that was like the start of
that relationship last.
No, that's basically how I led up to going to this prison this fourth time. Because I got out, get with this chick, we're in an apartment complex. I'm hanging out with my brother, which is a horrible idea. We're smoking Tunchi. Tunchi led to, you know, my brother's got connections to drugs, cocaine, but mainly Tunchi. Tunchi was like I was addicted to Tunchi at that time, like, and I ended up, there was a neighbor. We both went to prison for this. Me and my brother. There was a neighbor, and he was selling weed, and he was always hitting on my girl. And I knew he was hitting on my girl, but he would always act cool to me. And I was just like, cool, whatever. And he had a lot of weed. My brother was like, man, I need to get some money. I'm like, look, the dude on the corner sells weed.
Right.
He's always trying to have sex with my chick. Go rob his house. He's not home. Yeah. And my brother did that. This is the first time I've never had anything to do with anything when I went to prison. I did not do this.
It sounds like you orchestrated a burglary.
I know.
Like conspiracy to me. But.
Yeah, definitely conspiracy. Definitely conspiracy. I didn't think he was going to do it.
Right.
I'm like, bro, man, I come home. I was letting my brother stay with me. I come back. He's got a bunch of garbage. I'm talking about nothing, like watches that aren't worth nothing, like G-Shock. I don't know, bro. I'm like, why did you take all this guy stuff? He's like, I can't find no weed. I'm like, bro, you need to get rid of this stuff. So I literally scoop all the stuff up, go down to the dumpster and throw it away. I don't know none of this, though. The neighbors were watching my brother the whole time.
Right.
Right. So later on that night, I just hear doom, 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 doom on the door. And I'm like, what is that? And then boom, my door gets kicked in. Like, or
this poor chick gave you a place to live.
She wasn't even there at the time. She was visiting her like dead aunt or something. Like her aunt was gonna die or something. She had to get on a flight, and my brother wasn't even allowed to be there. She's like, "You ain't hanging out with your brother," and so she left. I called my brother over. We're smoking Tunchi. We're actually smoking Tunchi in the room at the time when the police kicked in, or however they did it. I don't even know. All I know, I heard boom, 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 and then boom. And you could see under the, like, there's like a crack in the door. You could see like lights, like just shining them on the door.
Right.
I open the door and there's guys like, get on the freaking ground now. I'm like, oh crap, you know, I get on the ground, right? They're like, you know, we have cause, you know, that there's neighbors seeing your brother breaking his house and all that other stuff. And they're like, we just want you to tell on him. You know, they didn't say it like that.
Right,
but they're like, hey, you know, all you got to do is just go on, tell on him, man. You good. We know you didn't do it. And I wouldn't do it. So they gave me a charge for like an accomplice for the crime. They said I was like a lookout. So
what did your brother say? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, my brother didn't say. My brother ended up beating the charge. Like he did like
he beat the charge and you went to jail?
No, he got locked up. My brother went and got locked up, but he got like a year and a day. Okay. It was like something like totally absurd. I get 4 years. But the only reason I get 4 years, right, at the time, this is the last time I get out, because I already knew I qualified for VCC.
What's that?
Violent career criminal, because burglary is considered violent.
Right.
SHO, which is serious habitual offender. Then you have, there's a whole slew of these things that they do in Florida.
Right.
PRR, prison releasee reoffender. VCC, violent career criminal. SHO, serious habitual offender, and they like they literally will just give you all these stuff, all this.
They just stack them.
Yeah. And so you're dead. You're over with. Like you're a wrap. You get out of prison in Florida and you mess up and you catch any one of these charges on here, you're done. You're done. Repeat, reoffender, all this stuff. So I ended up going to a bond hearing.
Right.
Right. And I was like, at the bond hearing, I'm like, how much you guys offering?
Right.
They're like, we don't even got your discovery yet. I'm saying, just go ask the freaking guy how much they're offering. He comes back, he's like, we could get you the bottom of the line, which is like 4 years. It was like 43 months or something. I said, I'll take it. He's like, you going to take it? I ain't even been in jail a month or nothing because I already know what time it is.
Right.
Even if I possibly could have beat it, what is the chances I've been to trial. The last time, last time I went to go get out, they had hit me for armed robbery.
So they offered you 43 months and you knew you couldn't go to trial. You couldn't go to trial. There's no way you're going to beat it at trial.
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, I could have beat it. I literally don't feel like I did anything other than tell my brother. I mean, that's probably part of the crime, like telling your brother to go do it.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like, what they had written on this thing was not, they were like, he was a lookout. I wasn't even there. Like I literally just came home and my brother really did it. He took a freaking screwdriver, stuck it in the dude's door and just popped the dude's door open and took a bunch of nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Which you threw out.
I literally threw it out. Right. Yeah. And so the cops were basically like, look, if you don't tell on your brother, we're taking you with. So I didn't tell my brother. I went to jail. Honestly, I thought I was going to beat it. But then, got the public defenders and they're like, oh, it looks bad on paper. I'm a lookout. They kick in the door of my house. They seen my brother go in my house. My brother's not saying nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I went to a bond hearing and I took the 43. I just was like, I knew I needed to I was sweating. I'd rather have 4 years than facing a life sentence on a roll of a dice.
Right.
Because I've been to trial before.
Right.
And I know that it's whoever lies the best.
Right.
Yeah. The truth. It's not even about the truth. It's at trial. Whoever got the best lawyer and whoever could tell the best lie.
Right.
And I just went and took the 43 months.
So where'd you go?
This time, first, they send you to Orlando, which is a Central Florida Reception Center.
Right.
And then you go from the Central Florida Reception Center. I went to Franklin Correctional in Franklin County in the Panhandle.
Okay.
All right. And I did about 3 years there at Franklin CI. But this time was different. So, the prior time I went to prison, I started reading the self-development and all this other stuff. And this time I was done. I'm like, this is it. I'm not going to do the same stuff. I'm going to take these 4. That's why I was kind of not happy to take the 4 years, but it was like a relief. I'm like, I'm going to take these 4 years. I'm going to work on myself.
Right.
I'm not going to watch TV. Ain't going to do nothing. All I'm going to do is work out, read, exercise.
Right.
And that's it. I'm going to take every single program I could. And that's what I did. So I get to Franklin, start exercising, start working out, reading, and I didn't watch TV or nothing for 3.5 years.
What are you reading?
Any self-development book I could get my hands on. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People is something that sticks out to me. I've read it 3 or 4 times. I've actually wrote a whole notebook on that. That was a big book that stuck out to me. Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich.
Right.
Fire. I'm trying to think. I was reading
48 Laws of Power.
48 Laws of Power. Although 48 Laws wasn't a big hit for me because it had all those notes in the margins.
Right.
And it was just it's just annoying to me because you're trying to read this and then you're reading the thoughts and I don't know. I read a lot of John Maxwell.
Okay.
I think, man, just basically, I mean, you name a self-development book, I probably read it, honestly. I just ate them up.
Did you have a game plan in there?
So a game plan as far as prison. So what I did is when I went in there, nobody was sending me money. So I got married the last time that chick that when I was in prison, I ended up marrying her before I got locked up this 4th time.
The one that you were in her house.
Yes. All right. So I got married to her, right? And
in prison or prior to prison? You got married prior to
no,
prison?
so this is what happened. So when I got arrested, right? She bonded me. When I got arrested with my brother, she bonded me out. All right. And I was only out for like 2 weeks. Right. So she bonded me out. We have no place to live because the apartment kicked her out the place because my brother
Cops
robbed.
are kicking in. Yeah. Yeah. I get that. I understand why.
So she got evicted. All right. So I go to jail. She bonds me out. Right. I'm like, baby, I'm a changed man. It's going to be different this time. And it really was, though. I honestly, man, while I was in county jail those 2 weeks, man, I had a life-changing experience with Jesus, man. I was going to meet my brother at a church service.
Right.
You know, because the different dorms got to go to the same church service.
Yeah.
And the guy I went in there and boom, just radically, I'm just changed, man. And like my whole mind flipped. So I'm like, baby, I'm different now. I'm like, I got Jesus. I'm like, you need to bond me out, right? But I was serious,
right?
And so she did. She bonded me out. I immediately went to church, right? And these people put us up in a hotel for a couple of weeks. The church did, and it was actually the same church guy that the service I went to. So, so I was going to service in county jail for a couple of weeks, and then I got out and I hooked up with the pastor that was going into the jail, and he puts us up in a hotel room, all that. Well, we get in an argument, me and her, you know what I mean? Because I did freaking Xanax when I wasn't supposed to, man. That's exactly what happened, man. I went to see my mom. It was the last time I seen my mom because my mom died when I was in prison this last time.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. But like, so it was the last time I seen my mom. And we knew we shouldn't go over there. We're like, we're going to go over there anyways. It's still a trap. Still a nice trap house, you know. But this time she lives in Tampa. Right. So we drove to Tampa. She's got a whole bottle of Xanax. We looked at each other and was like, we shouldn't do this. We literally did like verbatim. We're like, we should not do this. Let's do it anyways. Ate some Xanax. Got in a huge fight. Someone called the cops. I left. Cops called me. They're like, you need to come back here and talk to us. And I'm like, no. I'm like, you're going to just arrest me. They're like, no, we're not. I promise. No, you're going to arrest me. I'm good. I ended up turning myself in the next morning because I wanted to get a bond because I was already on bond.
Right.
And if you turn yourself in, then, you know, you should. I was like, okay, let me just do the right thing because, you know, I am trying to do the right thing at this time. I wasn't smoking, tune, cheer, none of that stuff. Right? And my life had really changed. I just got caught slipping with my mom. They don't let me out. Right.
Right.
Revoke my bond. So that's when I went to the bond hearing again. I was trying to like get another bond.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe like a couple weeks later, I had to put in for and that's when I took the 43 months. I went.
But you said you got married.
Oh yeah. So look. So boom. So I get out. All right. I get out of county jail. And those 2 weeks I was out, me and her got married. I want to honor God. So I'm like, you know, she's a really great girl. We just don't really mix like that. And she's hot, you know, but it's just not a good mix, right? And so we get married. The pastor marries us from the jail. The jail pastor marries us. We're in a nice hotel room, puts us up at like the Hilton Inn or whatever. I mean, we're doing good as far as, you know, but we're homeless. Stuff's bad, but we're like on the right path, right? So boom, I go back to jail. All right. I go to the bond hearing. She doesn't know I'm gonna take the 43 months. I don't know either. Nobody knows. She thinks we're gonna beat the charge because I didn't do nothing. Like, it's literally like a conspiracy. Like, you'll see on like the report, it'll say, conspiring. It was like the stupidest charge ever, right? I go to the bond hearing. She thinks I'm going to get a bond, right? Because I turned myself in, and then the charge got dropped with her for the domestic.
Right.
They never picked anything up. So literally, I'm just in jail on no charge. Someone called the cops. I turned myself in the next morning. They revoked my bond. I go to the second bond hearing, and they're like, "No, you're not getting a bond." So I was like, "Well, what are you offering?" You know, I just want to see. I didn't even know because I haven't got my discovery. Nothing. I don't know what my points are or nothing at this time.
Right.
I get in there like 43 months. I said, I'll take it. And I'm like, what? I said, I'll take it right now. They're like, I'm like, bro, go over there. I'm telling my go over there, get the freaking paperwork and bring it back. I'm going to sign it right now. I'll go right now. And he's like, we don't even got your, like, just listen to what I'm telling you. Because I don't want to tell him. They're all in cahoots, man.
Right.
You know, last thing I'm show cap, and I literally could have ran down a list of all those things I was on there. I'm like, no, let's just do the 43 months. So I come back, tell my wife, my then wife at the time, her name's Leah. She freaking freaks out. She's like, "Oh my God, what you took for, you're going to beat the charge. Now you're not getting out." I'm like, "No, I'm not getting out." I'm like, "All right." So boom, go to prison on some self-development stuff this time, right? Because I'm like, "Look, baby," I'm like, "I'm going to just go. I'm going to study. I'm going to write business plans. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to come out swole." And I really did all this stuff. Like, man, I did everything I said I was going to do. She just wasn't a believer at the time, and I don't blame her.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I get to prison. I go to call her, and I get a do-do-do-do. I'm like, no. I get, man, straight disconnected on me. I get a letter. She's like, "I'm with your boss." I'm not even joking. I can't even make this up. I can't even make this. It's like a movie, man. So prior to this, she's on the phone, right? So I was working at an electric company before I got locked up.
Right.
All right. Well, as much as I could work on whatever I was, I would show up. I would definitely try to. I mean, I might be up for a couple of days or whatever, but I'll show up. All right.
Okay. So
the guy loved me, right? Dude's name Clark. He knows I'm a good guy. Just, I'm friggin' crazy, whatever. So he hires her as like, they call it like a girl Friday, which you just do everything.
Right.
Coffee, whatever you do, like whatever we need, you're going to do it. Right. And just on the strength, cause she didn't have a job. Remember, we're in the hotel, homeless, whatever. Right. So he hires her because he likes me. Right. He's like, this is going to help. This is going to benefit you. You're in jail. She's got a job now. Maybe she could send you money or at least put money on the phone and all this other stuff. Right. So, I get to prison. I get to do. Oh, hold on. But prior to this, though, we're talking on the phone, and she keeps talking about my boss. And I'm like, it's weird. I'm like, she's like, "Oh, he's so great." It was just little. I'm like, what are you like screwing him or something? No, why would you try me like that? So I get to prison. Once she found out I had the 43 months.
Yeah.
Get to prison. Like going through reception. It's winter time. They don't give you nothing. You don't have no sweater, nothing in reception. When you get to prison, so you get like a little jacket. It's probably like the same material this is, and you're like literally like you're a worst time. I'm probably like one of the worst times I went through in my life, and no phone, no nothing, bro. So, anyways, I finally get to my main camp. I'm at Franklin. I get a letter. "Hey, I'm with your boss. We're getting divorced." I'm like, okay,
Right.
Okay. Like I can't even say nothing. All right. And I was left on my own in prison. That was it. No help, no more. And, I was feeling pretty sorry for myself.
Yeah.
I was just like, "God, why would you do this to me? I gave my life to you." And
for all of 2 weeks.
Yeah. And
I was solid for 2 weeks straight, except for the Xanax issue.
Like,
and the domestic violence call. Other than that, there was a good solid 6 days.
I did good. And so that's how, I was feeling sorry for myself. And I got to throw this in there because this is an integral part of the story right here. So when I get to prison, a guy hands me a magazine, all right? And it's a Victorious Living magazine. And if anybody's been in prison, they're circulated to like 2,000-3,000 prisons within the nation. It's a huge prison magazine. It's a Christian-based magazine, but it has like stories of faith in it, whatever. And they're like, "This guy, Corey, in this magazine, he was just in this prison. He's getting out. He's a pastor of a church, got a beautiful wife. He's doing all these great things. And he just left this prison." And I picked up the magazine and I'm just like, "Oh, I'm going to meet this guy. I'm going to get out and get with this guy right here." And I closed the magazine and I just forgot that. So then as we're going, I had like this revelation. Like I was feeling so sorry for myself that my wife left me and everything. And like, I didn't have nobody because, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to just take responsibility for myself and my life. I say, you know what? I'm here and this never had occurred to me before. It was like a new concept. I say, you know what? I put myself here.
Yeah.
And it was like, once I did that, it was like something opened up inside of me. I'm like, holy stuff, man. Like I put myself in. Nobody's fault but my own. And like all the self-development books just like came back like at once, bam. And I'm like, dude, I can't keep blaming it. So you know what? I don't need nothing from nobody. That's the day my life changed right there. I was smoking cigarettes when I first came in there. I threw the cigarettes away. I ain't smoking no more cigarettes or nothing of that. I'm like, I'm going hard. That's it. I started working out. I'm talking about, and I just kept to the script, man, every day, just working out. And then I decided, like, okay, I need to get some money. So how do I get some money? I'm like, I'm gonna start selling coffee. So went and got me a bag of coffee, bombed it up, made 15 bombs. A bomb's like where you take the little kitchen glove fingers. So you'll get the glove from the kitchen, which is a plastic, it's not a vinyl or a latex. Put the coffee in there. And I made one bag of coffee into 15 bombs. You get 15 soups, you get a soup a piece, and a bag of coffee costs 10. So then I just kept doing it and doing it and doing it. And then, like, next thing you know, I'm exercising. I got like 7, 8, 9 lockers full of food. Just for you guys in Franklin, I had like huge store. I had thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of canteen. I'm sending money to my baby mama. I got, I'm sending money to my baby mama, not because I like her or whatever, for my son for like Christmas and stuff like that. Not that I don't like my baby mama, just if you're watching. But so like
you never even mentioned you had gotten somebody pregnant.
Yeah,
like the first time we heard this.
Yeah, so while all this ripping and running is going on, about 3 prison sentences ago, I met this chick who was actually like a co-defendant, not a co-defendant as a prison, but like we used to like trap together and stuff like that. His sister. And I met her. We were together for like a month, and I go to jail, prison, whatever. And I get a phone call a letter. Yeah, probably a letter. Like, hey, I'm pregnant, whatever. I'm like, oh, man. So I called her. She's like, what do you want me to do? I said, well, have the kid. I'm not, I don't want you to abort the kid. That's, whatever. And so she's like, all right. So, but all this time, though, I'm not taking care of my kid now.
Right.
No, there's no interaction, nothing. So, fast forward 7, 8 years going through all this, I go to prison this last time. All right. And I'm doing good. Self-development, exercising, got the store going on. I circled the whole compound with food, had a great job at laundry, whatever. Like, I'm just like, I started doing Toastmasters, ended up becoming a competent communicator or I don't know. I got all these Toastmaster certificates and all this other stuff. And I would literally take every program that I possibly could while I was in prison.
Do you know what Toastmasters is? Oh, it's a program that it's a group that helps you learn how to be a better communicator and a better public speaker. And they have them in prisons.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure they have them outside prison. But
no, they do. But Toastmasters helped me out a lot, man. I did about 20 or 30 speeches or something. You gotta I was actually the president of the club and everything. You gotta stand up there in front of everybody, especially in prison too. Everybody just looking at you like, So, all right. So I didn't take care of my kid this whole time, right? So this last time I'm in prison was the time everything changed. I'm totally working on myself, self-development, writing business plans. I had a business plan I want to start a car wash when I get out, or like a detailing business, because everything was like low cost startup. I knew I didn't have nothing when I got out.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so prior to me getting out, the mother of my child lost the kid to DCF due to an abusive relationship.
Okay.
The guy she was with was beating on her, and DCF got involved, and then she got back with the guy.
They removed your son from the household for his safety.
Yes, for his safety. It wasn't like she didn't do his beating on, but she went and got back with the idiot, right? Like, whatever, and so DCF took the kid. Now, this happened about 2 weeks before I got out of prison.
Okay.
And I seen it as an opportunity, because this whole time she had put me in child support and everything while I was in prison, right? But I wasn't even mad, because, I took the responsibility for myself. And I was like, man, my son don't, I don't really know my son, but he don't need that. Like, he don't need that in his life. That's wrong. So I was like, whatever I got to do, I'm going to do it. If I got to pay child support, whatever. I already made that. I'm like, boom. Right. That's why I started sending him money and stuff while I was in prison from the store. And I go to get out 2 weeks prior he gets taken into custody. I see it as an opportunity, but not only an opportunity, but like a duty. I said, I got to get my son out of foster care.
Right.
I never had a dad. Like, I don't even know anything about this, but all I know is I got to do whatever I got to do to get him out.
Right.
So I get out. right? I put myself into a halfway house, right? Christian-based halfway house. They call it Fresh Start. I just knew that like I didn't want to go back to the same environment I was at. I knew that I didn't want to do anything that I did before. I want to do everything different. I want nothing the same. So I said, well, what can I do to possibly make this change? I got to get out of Newport Richie. I got to go. So I went to the furthest place away, Panama City in the Panhandle. Put myself in a halfway house up there. Started working, saving money, paid my license off. All while I'm doing all this though, I owed like $10,000 to Pasco County for my license. They put me on a payment plan, but I still had to pay like $3,000 or $4,000. Had to pay Hernando County a couple grand. Had to pay Hillsborough County because I'm like catching charges in all these places. Hernando County, I went to smash the cash spot window. I met this chick that worked at this cash spot. It was like where they do like the cash advances.
Right.
And she's like, we don't put the money in a safe. She's like, we put in a little black box because everybody wants to rob the safe. So the money's really in a filing cabinet.
And you thought, like, huh, good to know.
I said, where's this filing cabinet? And she just told me offhanded. And yeah, we went and freaking smashed the window of this place, man, and got no cash.
No.
I'm talking about we smashed the window good. And no money. We got the box and all.
No money in the box.
No money. It was like $500 in there, so it was not worth smashing a window, man.
Right. And now you owe for the window.
Yeah. Freaking. That's another story. But so we. What was I even talking about?
You were paying off all your debts.
Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, So I was paying off all my debts when I got out of prison to get my license. They put you on these payment plans, but you still got to pay like X amount of dollars toward whatever. Owed Hernando a bunch of money for breaking in this cash spot. Owed Pasco County for a slew of charges. Owed Hillsborough County. I literally had to drive from Panama City down here. I had to pay someone to drive me down here to pay all these places just to get my license because you got to like do it in person.
Right.
Because it's in collections and they take it out of collections. I don't know. It's weird how they do it. Get my license. Still don't got a car. At the time though, I got a bike. So this church donated me a bike. And they're like, here, and I was like, you know what? But I still had to take responsibility. I said, I'm not freaking asking nobody for nothing, dog. I don't want nothing from nobody. And I got on this bike and I would ride to these classes sometimes 15 miles. So it would be like 8 miles there, 8 miles back, or 7 miles, depending on where I was at, where the class was being held. And I just like literally got on this bike and just rode everywhere, rode to work. I had a job at a construction. I was making like $15 an hour when I first got out. And basically just saving the money. I wasn't doing anything. You know what I mean? I was just working, coming back to the halfway house.
What's the halfway house take?
I think $150, $200 a week.
Oh, that's not bad at all. That's good.
Yeah.
Do they feed you?
No.
Okay.
No. So this is the thing about the halfway house, right? So I had to do a program for 2 years in prison to do this halfway house, right? And I got to this halfway house. And everybody there is doing drugs.
Right.
I'm like, I'm thinking I'm going to put myself in a different environment.
I think it's what do they call it? Not a dry, but sober-free living type thing.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, I don't want to be around. I want to be around some different people. I get out, and their first thing to do is like, if you want chicks in here, bro, you just got to tell us, man. That's fine. He's like, you just got to close the door. I'm like, oh, man, I'm like, what kind of spot is this?
Yeah.
But this is where that magazine, so the guy in the magazine's named Corey, right? And when I was in prison, the guy handed me a magazine like, this guy just got out, remember? Right? So before I got out of prison, a guy came to the prison to preach. All right, before I got out this last time, he came to preach. And he's like, guess who our new pastor is? It's Corey. Now, this is years later.
Right.
And I'm like, that's the guy I want to meet. Right? So he has like a church brochure. And it's got the address on it. So I take the address. He don't know I took the address. I took the address. I get back to the dorm. I write him. So dude writes me back. He's like, yeah, bro, when you get out, whatever. All right. I'm like, okay, whatever. So we just touch base right there. I have his phone number, though. I get to the sober living facility place, the halfway house. It's going crazy. Like, everybody's doing drugs. There's women. Freaking people think there's snakes in their bed. Dude, woke me up. I was like, there's snakes in my bed. And I'm like, bro, like there's no snakes in your bed. He was just high, you know. It was like crazy stuff like that. I'm like, oh, I gotta go. Me and Corey are in touch. He says, hey man, he's like, why don't you? He's like, I'm starting a ministry down here in Franklin County. He's like, why don't you come down here and just see what I got going on? He's like, we need, you know, I need somebody around me, good teammate, whatever. I said, all right, I'll go check it out. So I went down there. He came pick me up from the halfway house. I went down there for 2 days, and I was like, bro, I can't go back there. So he's like, all right. So he ended up meeting some person, a lady and an old man and a lady who rented me their RV, right? They're like, we'll rent you the RV for $150 a week. So, okay. It was a brand new RV. It was like a Coleman Lantern. I said, okay, that's fine. I left the half.
You're used to living in a cell. You can live anywhere.
Yeah, man, I felt like like a king, man.
That's how I was in that. When I told you I lived in somebody's spare room, that was like, this is this is massive. Like, this is a great fucking spot. Yeah. Looking back now, it's like, you were living in someone's spare room. I was happy.
Dude, happy, man. And prison changed your perspective, man. Yeah, you know, it makes you a lot more grateful for things. And stuff like that, for sure. And so I started living in this RV. I quit my construction job. I just literally just left that place. I went back and got my stuff. I left a lot of stuff there. Came back. I started living in an RV, probably a couple miles away from Corey. I got a job doing electric because I got electric background.
Right.
And they were talking to me like crap there. And I'm like, I just walked out one day. I'm like, bro, you ain't gonna talk to me, bro. Like, you just any kind of way, like I'm a grown man. And I left, and I didn't know what I was going to do. This is like a month into me being down there. I said, you know what? I'm going to start my own business. That's all I'm going to do. And I started a cleaning business. And there's like an island down there, and I was doing pretty good, man. And I realized that freaking cleaning sucks. I said, I don't want to clean. It's hard.
My wife will tell you the worst job she had, which was in the halfway house. She was a maid at a motel, and she's like, it's horrible. She's like, it's the stuff you're cleaning up. She said it's just backbreaking.
Hard. I'm telling you, hard. I'm not lying. I'd rather do construction than cleaning.
Yeah.
Unless it's like my stuff. I'm cleaning my stuff. That's different. But so I just started this cleaning business. And I was like, man, I can't do this, man. This is bad. This is bad stuff right here, man. I don't want to do this. And I went and got a job as a bus, whatever you come in, like a greeter at a restaurant.
Okay.
All right. And I don't know why I did that. Like, I'm just like, bro, I'm going through it at the time. Like, I know I don't want to work at this electric job for $15 an hour. I don't want to clean. I was making good money cleaning, but man, it was a lot of work. And then it didn't add up because I make like $200-$300 of cleaning, but it'll take me all day.
So you're working so now you're a receptionist.
Yeah, at a restaurant. And I'm just like, and I was like, I seen these servers. It's a tourist restaurant, and I seen these servers. And they're making like $200-$300 a day. I'm like, I told the lady, I said, I want to do that. I want to serve. This is the first entry into sales. I said, I want to serve. She's like, you want to serve? She's like, you could try it out. And I did really phenomenal. I was like one of the best servers there. And so I did that for a couple of years, man. I just stacked money up. And
you stayed in the RV the whole time?
Oh, so no. So look, so once I got that job at the restaurant, I ended up getting full custody of my son.
Okay.
All right. I kept doing the classes, drug tests, whatever they wanted. They ended up awarding custody to me for my son. So me and him are living in an RV now.
Okay.
All right. But I got him. I don't even care. Like this is just temporary. I already know what the plans are. We're good. And so we're living in an RV. I end up.
How is that with your son? Just wondering. Like, he doesn't really know you, right?
No, he doesn't. But what the thing that they made you do with the parenting plan or whatever, to do the case plan to get your son back, you had to have consistent visits with him.
Okay.
All right. Now I'm living 6 hours away from him at the time. He's out of foster care. He's actually at my ex-wife's. So the chick that left me for the boss.
Yeah.
She is okay with my baby mama, but when my baby mama lost a kid, she came and picked him up.
Okay. So he's not in foster care?
He's in foster care, but not in foster care. He's with my ex-wife.
Okay, so he's with her, and foster care is managing, they pay her to keep him?
Yes, exactly.
So you're able to go there and visit with him?
No, because the husband is my boss.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't want her to have nothing to do with me.
Okay.
But so it's freaking twisted. So, but they make you do visits where they drop them off. So
Like sponsored. I mean, I'm not sponsored. Oh, I'm sorry. What do they call it? Where it's you have like somebody from foster care who's there to monitor. Monitored. What's the word I'm looking for? Chaperone, monitored. It's monitored by so somebody from foster care, or somebody from DS.
At least initially, because then you could start getting unsupervised with them.
Supervised. That's what I'm trying to say. Supervised.
Yes, but you would go in like a room and there would be like a person just standing there with the kid, like a little weird. But I did whatever I had to. I didn't care. And
was he receptive to you? Did he like how's that visit go?
He is 7 or 8. I've had him almost 3 years now, so he's about 7 years old at the time because he just turned 10.
Like you walk in and you say, I'm your dad, and he's just like, was he like, hey,
yeah,
excited?
It was kind of strange. It was kind of strange, probably for him. It was a little awkward at first,
Right.
But I had been buying him stuff in prison. You know what I mean? Like, and so the mom was
so
like,
he knows of you.
Yeah. So it wasn't like I was like a complete stranger, but us living together was definitely a culture shock. I remember the first day he got here, because the RV had 2 separate beds, and he was like, okay, that's your bed, buddy. Because I set it up. What I did is it had like the 2 bunks on the RV, and I pulled out the bottom and made him a little room underneath because he's so short. So I pulled out the bottom bunk part, and then it was just like basically an empty room, and I put little tables in there and toys in there for him and stuff like that. I made him like a little room out of the RV. And the first night he was in there, he went up on the little bed or whatever. I had to buy him a ladder to get up on there, and I was like, he just kept looking at me like he was like crying. I could tell. I'm like, "What's up, buddy? You want to come sleep with me?" He's like, "No." And then one day he's like, "All right," and he got down. And he's just been sleeping with me ever since. Still sleeps with me right now. he just sleeps in my bed. I mean, I don't care, whatever. But he ain't gonna be little for long, I mean, There's gonna come a time he ain't gonna want to even.
Yeah. You'll just he'll be a teenager. He'll be like, you don't know anything.
So it was definitely a culture shock for him and for me, especially I've never had a dad.
Right.
But that might be a good thing because like haven't been preconceived, haven't been conditioned for any kind of. That's why I think I'm so smart because I never went to school. I'm being for real. I've thought about it. I think I'm a great dad because I never had a dad, and there's nothing to put anything on me. I don't know. I'm just making it up as I go. And the same with school. Never been to school. As far as after 6th grade, that was it. And I think that's really what helped me out a lot, man.
Okay.
And so I moved to all right. So me and him so I'm like. The owner of the RV tells me he's got to sell the RV randomly. He's just like, hey, I just sold the RV. He's like, you got 30 days to get out of here. I'm like, what the heck? And at the place I'm living at is a tourist place. You can't just get a house or an apartment. It's not like that. It's a small town, and it's next to an island. All the houses are mansions or they're owned by a small group of people, and it's damn near impossible to find a place to live. I just did it like sales. It's just a numbers game. The more people I talk to, the more chances I get. So I just went on Facebook and just blasted everybody who had a place. And they'd want you to fill out an application fee. And I would just be like, listen, I got to talk to you first.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, I'm a felon. I'm a single father. I got a good job. I make a couple $100s a day at a restaurant. This is what it is. And 99% of them were like, no, we're okay.
Yeah.
And then I found the one guy who was like, yeah, he's like, I'll give you a shot. All right. And then so I moved it was a trailer though. It was like a single wide trailer. It was old, super old, but it was clean. It wasn't like, it was just old. It wasn't like it was dirty or nothing like that. And me and him moved in there and I felt like a king.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Just progression. I bought me a Cadillac DeVille for like a couple grand. Older car. It was 1999, but I loved it. And then just kept progressing right there. The owner of the trailer, after I lived there for a year, came to me. He's like, hey man, I'm selling the trailer. He's like, you got 30 days. I'm like, what the heck? After I signed a lease for the second year, so it was a year up, I signed a lease for a second year. But in the lease, there's a clause that says that he could sell. You got to just give me a 30-day notice, and he could sell at any time. And I was like, okay. So Went back at it trying to find a place. This time I couldn't find a place. The owner of the restaurant, her name's Andrea. She's like, I have 2 friends. They have a beach condo. She's like, you could stay there for 60 days until you find a place it was like $1 million beach condo.
Jesus.
They're like, okay. Yeah. So we went there. Had Christmas there.
He said I could use this.
Yeah, dude, it was beautiful. Beautiful place. 3 stories. I'm talking about beautiful. It was all furnitured out, and yeah, it was really nice. And so we stayed there. I didn't even stay there the 2 months because I just kept grinding. Ended up finding an apartment that was going to give me a shot. I had to do a testimony. Like I had police writing me because in that small town, while I'm living there, I'm going into the county jail with the guy Corey because he has a huge prison ministry. Right. So he goes into prison and I go in with him. I actually got kicked out of the prisons recently, but that's a different story. And so while we're going in, okay, so I'm in the condo, I'm going into jail. I get the apartment. They want like this, all kinds of stuff. They're like, so I gave like basically I told them my testimony. I had cops writing me, the sheriff writing me, referrals and cops and you name it. And they let me in there. Beautiful brand new apartment. Okay. All right. So now I'm in an apartment. Now I got it going on, right?
So like a 2-bedroom, 2-bath?
3-bedroom, 2-bath.
Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. Brand new. My son, I don't know why I got the 3-bedroom. I don't know. I was like, now that I think about it, I probably could have saved a lot of money, but I was just like, 3 it. She's like, you want the 2-bedroom or the 3? The 3, you just run it. And we're just so I'm at the apartment and I got me a Chrysler 300. So now I'm riding clean. Got me a Chrysler 300, looked brand new. I think it was 2012, but it looked like brand new. I'm just grinding. This is where I start learning about the credit. So I started my TikTok. The whole time I started my TikTok because when I was in prison, I wrote all this stuff down I was going to do. Right. And I'm like, I want to document my journey. It was never to get like followers or clout or anything like that. Like all I want to do is I want to document from me getting out to when I'm multi-millionaire and be like, look, it's all on tape. So that's what I started doing when I got out of prison. I started getting on social media and just documenting it. I've been on there a couple of years. But this time I'm learning about the credit. Right. All right. And I was like, you know what? Let me try some of this stuff they're talking about. And I started going in the banks and just talking to the people. And I'm like, can I get a loan? They're like, no, you can't get a loan. I'm like, well, what do I need? They're like, well, you need this. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I just write it down. I'm writing the stuff down. And then I would come back with what they asked for. Right. And boom, gave me 15 bands, $15,000. I'm like, oh crap. And then another 5,000, another 7,000, just started. So I'm like, I'm going to take this money and I'm going to invest in a car dealership.
How'd that go?
Dude, I took this money. I remember one time, bro, I had like 12 or 13 grand in cash. I went and rented a building, went and got signs. Cause in Florida, you got to have like a brick and mortar place to own a car dealership. Right. And before you even get approved for the car dealership, you have to have all this X amount of stuff. Like you got to have X amount of square feet with a bathroom and an office. And you got to have 5 parking spaces with the sign. And the sign's got to be this far away. And you got to have handicap. I went and just blew all this money on everything but cars. Right. So I got a beautiful office, 1,500 square foot office building. I got these signs, everything. And I was just like, they denied my freaking license for the car dealership. They're like, you're a felon. I'm like, but I knew the reason I did it though, I knew someone who had felonies who had done it. Right. I know him personally. And my whole, so just like the whole point, he said he was going to give me his cars. Right. All right. Cause the town I lived in had no car dealerships for hours anywhere. And he was the next car dealership. So I said, I'm going to get the spot. Right. All right. I'm just going to get your cars. I'm going to put them here and I'm going to sell them and take a margin off everything I sell. It's like you're expanding your dealership to 2 spots. Right. And he was like, yeah. That's an awesome idea. And then he just never answered the phone again, bro. And so I went broke. Yeah, I went broke.
How long ago was that?
About a year ago.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. yeah, I had to transition. Man. Freaking was down on my low, man. I'm talking about the probably lowest time I've ever been in my life. Because not only am I broke, I owe all this money for the loans.
Right.
And I just went to, so I tried to transition to a tattoo shop. And this stuff's all on my TikTok. Like, you literally watch every single one of these videos, like from everything I'm telling you is like on there. Because if it was a significant moment, I actually put it on there because I want to like record it. And so I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm going to just turn it into a tattoo shop. And I went there and I'm like, hey, man, I want to turn this into a tattoo. I told the guy, he's like, no, you can't turn it into a tattoo shop. He's like, I don't want those type of people here. I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right. I went back to the drawing board. I had a lady who had a thrift store. She's like, well, I use it for a thrift store. We'll just expand. I'm like, she's like, I'll just pay you rent because I was going to sublease it. I said, all right. So I went back to the guy. I'm like, hey.
You can't sublease.
Well, no, it was nothing in the thing. I didn't even tell him I was going to sublease. I said, hey, I want to start a thrift store. He's like, nah, I said, bro, I'm like, look, I can't pay you no money. You can't let me do nothing, bro. I'm like, I'm done. I'm like, I don't care about the lease, bro. Like, right. I mean, I signed in my company name. I'm like, what are you going to do, bro? I've already, just keep the deposit. He kept like $3,200 or something. I was like, yeah. And I said, just keep it. I'm good. And then I was like, really, really, really broke. And then I went home and cried, man. I was just like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Plus, I got my kid. Right. I quit the job at the restaurant. Yeah. And so I started a handyman company. And I started doing, because I did that for like a week. And I said, oh, hell no. Like, my back was hurting and everything. Dude, no, listen, I had some jobs because like, you got to remember, like, I'm in a small town. I know. So anything I do, like, the people are supporting me. Right. So immediately I get some jobs. And I went back to do them. Like, I can't do this, man. I said, this hurts. I got like this, like I'm like hurting. Like, I went to work one day, man. It's like we were putting these beams up. Like, I'm done, man. I said, I'll figure something else out. And so I ended up getting another loan, right? And so I'm paying my rent with it and all this other stuff. So I got like a little bit of money left. Not much, maybe like $2,000 off this loan I got left, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I'm scrolling on, but I'm doing TikToks at the same time. I'm on TikTok live. I'm going hard. Like I'm putting the media out, putting the social media out. Cause I know that if I could get seen by enough people, man, something's going to happen. Right. I don't know what's going to happen, but something's going to happen. And all I really want to do is just help somebody. So maybe, I don't know. And I just believe like, if I just put the help out, like if I help enough people, bro, someone will help me. You know what I mean? And, so I'm scrolling through TikTok. There's this thing called RiseCon, right? In Tampa last year, June 16th, I think. And the tickets was $1,200. And I don't even know what I was doing, man. Freaking Rick Ross all there, Grant Cardone, I seen David Goggins. I'm like, oh, I'm going. And as I'm scrolling, the dude calls me from the RiseCon, like, because I guess like however they got the funnel set up. Yeah. I click on it. I'm like, hello? He's like, well, you ready to go to RiseCon? I'm like, what? I'm like, bro. He like, boom, boom. He's like, I'll give you the tickets were $1,600. He said, I'll give you the gold pass for like $1,200, and you get to like eat lunch with all these people, whatever. And something inside of me just said, do it. And I said, I ain't got nothing to lose. I said, I got to get around some millionaires. And I said, all right. That's all I knew. I said, I just need to get around some people, man. And he said, all right. And I went and I bought the ticket. I'm down to $0 now, basically. Like rent's paid, $0. I drive out to Tampa on a hope and a dream. Day 3 of RiseCon, day 2 of RiseCon. I'm there. I'm sitting in the front. This guy gets on stage and he's like, I just did $120 million in revenue or net, not in the revenue. He said, I did $120 million net last year with his freight broker transportation company. He's like, I've been in prison. He like, I got out 10 years ago. I started this company. He's like, now we hire felons. And I jumped up. I ain't lying, bro.
I'm a felon?
No, it was on camera. Like I literally like jumped up. Like there was like freaking 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. This is at a conference, man. And they got and the lady comes over with the microphone. I'm like, bro. I'm like, I'm coming to work for you, right? And everybody thought I was freaking crazy, bro. The dude next to me like, oh yeah, like laughing, like think it was funny. And I waited for the dude, bro. I waited for him, bro. I came back the next day and I waited for him. And I seen him, and he was like talking to somebody because like they kind of like mill around. I mean, probably like not Grant Cardone and David Goggins, but he wasn't like like a A-list celebrity or nothing. I mean, he was just there. And I finally seen him, and I pulled up on him. I said, look, man, I'm coming, man. I'm coming to work for you. I said, I'll be an asset to your company. And I don't even know what he does. I don't even know nothing but transportation, nothing. I don't know. I didn't even know it was sales. I didn't know what to say. I just said, I'm coming, bro. And he's like, where do you live? Like, I live 6 hours away. I said, but I'm moving to Tampa. He says, you move to Tampa, I'll give you a shot. And this is how I knew it was real, though, because his company, he was work there, and all these dudes got really nice cars. They're all from prison. You got people making $500,000 a year. Just got out of chain gang. So I knew I could do it. I waited for him, called me, said, come to Tampa. That was on Sunday. Tuesday, I called him. I said, I'm in Tampa, bro. I literally went home, sold everything in my house. Sold everything except my son's room. Kept my son's room, whatever he had, because that's my most important thing, man. Make sure my son's straight. Sold everything. Paid, so the guy's like, well, you could pay out of your lease. So you got to pay a month and then a month to break the lease. That wouldn't be accounted for or whatever. So I paid him the month, right?
Right.
All right. Because you could break your lease there at the apartment. I didn't know this. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I went back and said, I want it out of my lease. I'm moving to Tampa. He's like, okay, well, you pay a month, and then on the next month, you pay like an extra month, and then I don't know how they did it. It ended up being like $3,000, but I didn't have to pay. I only had to pay like $1,000 at first. So I sold everything, paid the dude the $1,000, drove to Tampa, ain't had no place to stay. Just me and my son. There's a chick named Julia, which is the mother of my brother's child, right?
Right.
And I'm like, I need a place to stay for a couple of days, so I figured something out. I just know I had to get to Tampa. And she's like, you can stay here. So I go there, and her house wasn't all that. And I'm like, oh, this is not a good spot for me. You know what I mean? And I didn't know what I was going to do. And my grandmother, out of nowhere, she's like, you could come stay. She's like, you're staying at Julia's. You could come stay here. So I did that. I started staying there, and I started going to work at the job. They put you in like training. So you get 6 weeks of training. All right. And they give you $600 a week for 6 weeks, and then that's it, right? But I don't know nothing I didn't even know this was sales, right? So when I get there, they're like, oh, you got to cold call people. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like cold call? They're like, no, yeah, you got to we're going to give you a bunch of numbers. You call them and you make a sale. And I'm like, okay, bro. And oh my God, I went through it. So for like 4 months, I didn't make any money. I just was going down, 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 bad. And I never thought to ask what the job was or whatever. You know what I mean? And so I was in a really dark place. And then I got in a really bad car accident. Right when I got down there, when I started everything was going down, I'm only making $600 a week. That's not even covering gas or nothing. That's not covering traffic. Food, nothing. I'm talking about I'm literally just losing money, bro. I'm maxed out on all my credit cards, everything, just down fast. And I was like, I wanted to run. I wanted to jump ship. What am I gonna do? I'm like, what did I do?
Right.
What did I do? I'm like, oh, I messed up this time. And then some told me just to go back to the basics. I'm like, what am I doing right now? They're like, well, you stop listening to audio tapes. You haven't been self-developing. Get back right. And I said, you know what? I said, and I made a commitment. I said, you haven't taken responsibility. I said, you know what? It don't even matter. I said, look, I'm going to go back here. I remember I packed my stuff up, dude. It was a Friday because I'm the only one in the office. Nobody even goes to the office.
Right.
You could work from home. I go, it doesn't matter. You work remotely or whatever. And at this time, nobody's at the office. And I'm literally in it. No one's training me or nothing. They just literally put me in front of a computer here you go. And I'm like, hell, bad. And so I came to several, what am I doing? I'm like, I stopped doing what I was supposed to be doing. And I snapped back. I started getting all my sales books, reading sales books, sales audio tapes, boom, went the thrift books, bought a bunch of books. And I just started studying really hard, man. And I ended up, bam, I started hitting. Right. I remember first week I hit $2,500 a week. Bam. And then it just started coming in. All of a sudden, dude, it just it went from.
What is the job?
So I transport heavy machinery. All right. So say you have, say you're a construction manager or anybody, right? I transport cars, containers, doesn't matter. So say you have a huge machine, a cat. It's oversized. It's 100,000 pounds. and you're like, hey man, I need to move this from Pennsylvania to California. All right. And I'll be like, all right. So, we got to put this on a special type of trailer. You know your trailers, the height, dimensions, how much the permits cost, all that. And I'm like, it's going to cost you $25,000.
Right.
And I put my commission. So like really, it's going to cost me 20 grand. And it's going to cost you 25 grand. And you say, okay. And then I run your credit card, get a wire payment, Zelle, PayPal, and I have a trucker show up, load your thing on top of there and keep it going.
Well, I mean, I don't know that's logistics more than
yes.
just sales, right? Like it's
it's definitely logistics. No,
there's just some sales involved.
I'm a logistics specialist, yeah, but if you can't close the person, yeah, because you're putting your commission on it. There ain't no like cap to what you could do. Like there's people there that make $10,000-$15,000 a day.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're like, but you get a commission of it. So you get 40%.
Right.
Off not off each load, but you get 40% off
that $5,000. That difference in between the 20 and the 25. You get the 5, you get 40% of the 5.
Yeah, exactly. But you'll have multiple loads a day though, so it won't like you're making $10,000 off one leg. But if you ship 5 things a day, you make $1,000 a piece. You make $5,000. You're walking home with $2,500.
Yeah, but I'm just
$2,000.
40% of $5,000 is $2,000. You did that once a week. That's in Florida. 10,000. That's $8,000 a month. That's in Florida. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, I do. I do that every week. That ain't nothing, man. There's people making way more than that. But the moral story is like, so I literally did not make no money for 4 months there.
Right.
And then I just had like a mindset change, and then bam, I'm on. Now I'm putting up 5, 6, 7K weeks every week. Like it ain't nothing. But that was just digging in, finding like, what I was really about, man. Cause I went through a really dark time. I went through that car accident too. Demolished my car. I'm talking about, I got a picture on my phone. I'm talking about demolished. I'm lucky I broke my wrist and broke my wrist and my ankle. That was Friday.
Is that your fault or?
Yeah, I think I fell asleep because I had my apartment up there, right, and I had my son's room, right, and in a storage unit. When I sold all the stuff in my apartment up in Panama City, basically, it's Apalachicola, but it's Panama City, Florida. And I had a storage room up there. So I left work on a Friday. This is like about a month or two after I was working there. I left work on a Friday to go pick up my son's stuff to get the rest of his stuff out of the storage unit so I didn't have to pay the next month. And I guess I fell asleep. I don't even remember. I just remember driving around the corner. They call it Dead Man's Curve over there, though. The roads are really windy. And I just was going around the corner, and then someone boom. And my car was so bad that I got out the car. I didn't believe it was my car. They're like, there's your car. And I'm like, that ain't my car. Like, that's your car, bro. Like, I'm like, dude, they had to cut the seatbelt. Not when I got out, because the dude, when I crashed, all I know is I woke up and there's a guy telling me to sit in my car. He's like, stay right there. I'm like, bro, you better get out my freaking way, because I'm getting out the damn car. There's smoke in there. And he was like trying to like get me to just let sit, because maybe if I was hurt. I was like, bro, you're going to get out the freaking way. I'm getting out this car right now. And thank God nobody was hurt. Nobody was hurt except me. I broke my wrist and my ankle. And that was a Friday. I went back to work on a Monday. This before I started making money, though. So right. I'm like...
So it's even worse. It's like as soon as you think you can't get any worse.
Even worse. I couldn't even walk, and it hurt so bad. Thank God my grandma, she came through again. She snapped me out of it. So I got in an accident. My buddy Corey drove me back from there, about a 6-hour drive, drove me from like Panama City, or I went to the hospital in Tallahassee. So basically from Tallahassee back to Tampa. And I'm laying there and I'm about to give up. Like, I'm done. Like, sales suck, can't make no money. And my grandma's like, you need to get your butt up. She's like, this is the worst. This is just say, you need to get up. I'm like, I ain't got no money. She's like, you need to rent. She's like, I'll rent you a damn car. You just pay me back. And she's like, get up. And freaking went and rented a car. And I had her like this. I'm just driving like this, man. And that was a Friday. I was back at work on Monday like it wasn't nothing. And I just, not making no money. And then, eventually I started hitting. Just like anything, though. That's how entrepreneurship goes. Mm-hmm. you just keep grinding. It's real dark, real scary. You don't know how you're going to pay anything. And then
it's like Jeff Bezos. He talks about it. They only talk about his successes. If you ever listen to him, he'll tell you, he'll go, oh, they don't ever mention that I lost, $300 million opening this company. And they don't mention the $500 million I lost opening this one. They don't, like, he can list like couple $1 billion that he lost opening.
Never even heard of it.
Yeah. And when he says the names of them, you're like, oh, I remember that app. Like, what happened to that? Oh, I remember when whatever did happen to that website or that company or that. These are all companies that Amazon has opened, funneled a ton of money into, and just failed. Failed
every single time.
And he's like, nobody ever talks about it. He goes, nobody will ever remember your failures. He's like, every billionaire out there has had numerous failures. What is it? I think it's Bezos also that. I love that. I think it's his saying where he says most overnight successes take about 10 years.
Yeah.
It's a great saying, right?
Grind 10 years to be an overnight success.
That's basically how it works too, man. That's just how I know for sure. I know for sure I'm on the right track, but I just kept like documenting everything the whole time.
Putting it on TikTok.
Put on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. I crushed Facebook. I got like 176,000 followers on there. TikTok like 119,000, and I just in 30 days I put up 41,000 on Instagram.
Right.
Which Instagram hard, man. Instagram is tough.
You don't get a lot of. We don't get like we had one the other day that got like 400,000, but most of mine are like 7,000. 12, it's 10, and consistently, like it never gets very high. And then the other day we had one that got like 400,000. I was like, wow, that never happens.
Yeah, Instagram tough, man. Instagram tough. And the only reason I got all them, I got like 30,000 followers off one video, hit like 1.5 million or 6 million views.
That's what that one 400,000, like that we must have gotten probably 15,000 followers off that, maybe 20.
It's crazy because your conversion rate for followers to views on Instagram is way higher than TikTok. So you're looking at like a 1% follower ratio whenever like, so if you get 100,000 views, you're looking at 100 followers off TikTok. But I got because I've had multiple videos go millions and millions on TikTok and you don't get that many followers. But Instagram, 1.6 million views. I got like 30,000 followers or something crazy, man. I'm like, oh.
What happened with the trial? Like, why did you can you tell a story of what happened and then why you went to trial and then what happened in the trial?
So like, all right. Prior to me getting arrested and going to prison, I was dealing drugs. I was talking to this chick who had a bunch of pills and I would trade her work or whatever kind of drugs at the time for the pills. And she told me one time that she had like 100 something pills at the time. It was Oxycontins Oxycontins was a big thing these days, or the 80s. They were green, a big green.
Right.
And she's like, I got all these pills. I want to trade them. So I called my drug dealer at the time and I'm like, hey man, but he lives like 2 hours away. I'm like, this chick's got all these pills, right? At the time it was like 6 a.m, right? She's got all these pills. She wants to trade them. All right. He's like, I'm not driving down there for all this. I'm like, bro, listen, she's got 100. These things are like $50, $60 at the time. These things are like really expensive at the time. And she's got 120 of them. That's what she's telling me. So he's like, all right, I'll drive down there. So he drives down there. Chick pulls up. I get in the car. We go to meet the guy. I go to get out the car. She hands me like 2 pills. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, but she's got a whole bottle. She's like, I only want to get rid of 2. I'm like, listen. I said, listen, my buddy drove down here 2 hours, right? This is like the big guy. Right? He didn't even want to do it. I'm like, I promise you she's got them. I said, you need to come off some. She's like, I'm not coming off any more pills. She's like, I'm not. I'm only coming off 2. She's like, I'm like, all right. I said, hold on. All right. I said, like, hold on. So I get out the car. I jump in my homeboy's car. He's like, bro, I know you didn't just drive me down here for this. And I was like, well, hold on. I said, I got a solution. You know, I had a gun on me at the time. I was like, hold on, I got a solution for this. I like, just go drive around to the corner. He's like, all right. He's like, so he drives around the corner. I get in the car. I said, listen, man, you're going to come off the thing. We're going to trade these to the guy. She's like, no, I ain't. But now she's driving. I'm like, you're going to trade these to the guy. She's like, I'm not doing nothing, blah, 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 blah. Freaking, So I pull out on her. I pull the gun out on her, and I'm like, look, she slams on the brakes. My head hit the windshield, whatever, right? She jumps out the car screaming at the top of her lungs. Oh my God, he's got a gun. I freak out. I just jump out the car and take off running. That's it. That's what happened. All right. It's over with. So
that's the whole thing.
That's it. I go to prison, right? I go to prison. About 2 years in prison, I'm starting to come up on release date. I get a call from detectives. They bring me up to the sergeant comes gets me. They bring me up to they're like, hey, you got an armed robbery for this chick. And I'm like, like, what you mean? Like, yeah, you got an armed robbery. And I'm like, I don't know nothing. Like, oh, well, that's okay. You're going to jail anyways. So they come and get me from prison. Now I got 2 years left. Maybe like a year left, probably like a year. They take me to county jail. I sit in county jail for a couple of years. But here's where this is where it messed up. Like, instead of her coming to tell the truth, she said, I'm a stranger. Right? She said, I'm a hitchhiker. I'm walking down the street. She picks a hitchhiker up. I pull a gun on her and she jumps out of the car and all this stuff. She doesn't know me, never seen me a day in her life or nothing. But I've known this chick. Everybody's seen me with the chick and everything, right? So I'm like, that don't even make no sense.
Right.
Right. So I got a public defender. I'm like, look, so we got to bring these people in that have seen me with her. And we did like a week trial. So I took it to trial, right? Because they were going to give me like a life sentence. They're like, they're like, we'll give you 15 years. Like, you could take 15 years or we're going to take it to trial. And I'm like, if I ain't taking 15, you might as well go and give me 30. Like 15 is 30 to me, bro. Like, I didn't, if you know, at the time, that's what I was thinking. And I took it to trial. So we went and picked a jury, picked six jurors. And the only reason I won, though, is because she didn't tell the truth. She told us that I got pictures with the chick, and like she was saying that she doesn't know me. And that's where like the discrepancies came in.
Right. So if you're lying about this, we can't believe anything you're saying.
Anything you're saying. It tore her out the frame. If she would have just said what happened, hey, she could have even told him, hey, I had some pills, I was gonna trade them.
Right.
And this had to happen or whatever. You know what I mean? And that's not what happened. She said she completely didn't know me, all this other stuff. And we ended up beating the trial like that, right? But I had sat in county jail for about 2-3 years. So I did the 2 years in prison. I got sentenced to 4 years. I did 2 years in prison, and then I ended up sitting in county for like 2.5 years. Went to trial. They put a leg. So what they do is they put like a leg brace on you. Like, you're in a suit. You can't tell that you're in prison, but or in jail, but they can, because you're like walking funny. You got like a leg brace on there. And someone came to court and said that, so they had a witness come out of nowhere. And I'm like, what the heck? And the guy's like, nope, that's not the guy. He's like, I chased the guy the whole time. So I guess someone wearing the same clothes, same everything. I don't even know. Don't even know who the guy is. The guy came to court, said that he chased the guy the whole time, that he seen the guy jump out the car, chase him, and it wasn't me. And I'm like, no, it wasn't me. That's what I was trying to say the whole time. You know what I mean? And
was this anybody you knew?
No,
just some guy randomly shows up
right at the end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, dude, it was God. I mean, it was like because the guy was saying it was wearing the same clothes, same everything, and he chased the guy all the way, and it wasn't me. He recognized, and it wasn't me, and I don't even know this guy. And they literally just were like, not guilty. And they took the leg brace off. I had a leg brace, took the leg brace. They're like, you're free to go. And I leave the courthouse. I call my friend who sells dope. She pulls up. I jump in the car. She's got a pistol, a bunch of dope, and she starts making plays with me in the car. She's driving around selling dope. I'm just in the backseat, just being trial. She got a gun and everything in the car. That's how sick it was. Yeah, like this is multiple times a prison to go, and and we're running around and I'm popping Molly. Yeah, and it was
bad. It's all bad. This is one bad story after another.
This is bad, but it all came together for good at the end, man. And now I'm able to, making money, making really good money. Able to motivate people, like just to like see, like if I could come up out of that, like if I could come out of that, anybody could do it. Because I probably shouldn't even be here.
I appreciate you coming by. Mm-hmm. Appreciate you making the drive. How long of a drive is it?
Hour.
It's an hour? Oh, okay, that's not bad.
No.
It's fine.
Oh, worth it.
Yeah.
For real, bro. I'm enjoying this, bro. I feel great. Good people and stuff like that. For real, man. I feel at home.
I appreciate you guys watching. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you get notified of videos just like this. Please share the video. That really does help. Also, please consider joining my Patreon. It's like $10 a month. Please go to the description box and click on the links so that you can follow your social media. And I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. See ya.